Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a shocking twist that has left fans of Sister Wives completely stunned, Christine Brown allegedly stood up in a tense courtroom showdown and exposed what she claimed was Kody Brown's long-hidden secret, a private marriage arrangement with Robyn Brown that went far deeper than anyone in the public, or even some family members, had ever been told, and according to whispers coming out of the courthouse, Christine delivered her bombshell testimony with the kind of raw emotion that could only come from years of pent-up frustration, betrayal, and a desire to finally pull back the curtain on what she viewed as decades of manipulation, favoritism, and deception. And while TLC cameras may not have been rolling inside that room, those who were there have painted a picture of a scene that could rival any of the show's most dramatic episodes, with Christine reportedly slamming her hands on the table and shouting that the entire Sister Wives narrative had been built on a lie because Kody's so-called spiritual unions with his other wives were always treated as second-class compared to his real marriage with Robyn, which Christine claimed wasn't just legal but had been cloaked in secrecy and backdoor arrangements that gave Robyn an elevated status above all others, effectively destroying any illusion of equality that Kody had ever tried to maintain. And as the judge presiding over the case looked on, Christine's voice allegedly shook with both rage and conviction as she accused Kody of gaslighting not just her but the entire Sister Wives audience for years, spinning tales of plural unity while quietly consolidating his emotional, financial, and legal loyalties to Robyn. And those in attendance said Kody's face went red as he tried to interrupt, insisting that Christine was exaggerating and twisting the truth. Yet Christine, emboldened by the moment, refused to let him wriggle away, recounting in detail how she had discovered documents, conversations, and family secrets that allegedly proved Robyn was not just the favored wife, but the only wife in the truest sense of the word, a revelation that sent audible gasps rippling through the courtroom, as even Janelle, who was reportedly present, sat back in stunned silence, her eyes wide at the thought that Christine might be saying out loud what so many had privately suspected all along. And Robyn herself, who had been sitting quietly beside Kody at the defense table, reportedly broke into tears, insisting that Christine was trying to paint her as a villain and that she had never intended to hurt anyone. But Christine, visibly shaking, pressed forward, saying that the moment Kody secretly locked himself legally and emotionally to Robyn, the rest of the family was doomed, that she had spent years trying to ignore the truth because of her children and because of the fear of public humiliation, but that now, in this courtroom, with the stakes laid bare, she could no longer stay silent. And at that point, the judge reportedly had to bang the gavel several times to restore order because the room had descended into chaos, with Kody trying to shout over Christine, Robyn sobbing uncontrollably, and the gallery filled with whispers, laughter, and gasps as Christine dropped revelation after revelation, including claims that certain financial moves Kody had made, ones that left Janelle and Mary struggling while Robyn lived in comfort, were directly tied to this secret arrangement, a marriage that Christine insisted was deliberately hidden in layers of paperwork, trust funds, and property titles. And as Christine recounted the years of feeling like an outsider in her own marriage, her words cut through the air like a knife, her accusations forcing the court to confront the possibility that the Sister Wives empire had been built not on faith and family, but on lies and favoritism. And insiders later revealed that when Christine finally finished, she sat back down, tears streaming down her face but her posture unbroken, like a woman who had finally unburdened herself of a truth too heavy to carry any longer, while Kody, visibly rattled, slumped back in his chair, muttering under his breath about betrayal and lies, yet unable to muster the same force of conviction that Christine had just unleashed. And what made the moment even more electrifying was the fact that Christine's words didn't just hit Kody. They rippled outward toward Robyn, who has long been accused by fans of being the wedge that destroyed the Brown family. And while she has often insisted she never wanted to be the favorite, Christine's testimony made it clear that the favoritism wasn't just emotional, it was systemic, legal, and deliberate. And for fans who had followed the family's journey since season 1, the courtroom meltdown may go down as the definitive moment where the curtain was finally pulled back, exposing the raw truth behind the sister wives saga. And though the judge has yet to deliver an official ruling on the disputes at hand, Christine's explosive revelations have already delivered the kind of verdict that resonates louder than any legal decision. The verdict that Kody Brown's dream of unity was a sham, that his actions betrayed the very women he once promised to honor, and that no matter what spin he or TLC tries to put on the situation, the truth has already escaped, impossible to contain, leaving the future of the show, the family, and the legacy of the sister wives in utter chaos. And while some insiders say Kody and Robyn will try to do damage control by portraying Christine's meltdown as bitterness, others believe that Christine's raw courage may finally inspire Meri and Janelle to speak up even more forcefully, perhaps even leading to more secrets being dragged into the open. And as the dust settles from this fiery courtroom explosion, one thing has become clear. The sister wives story is no longer about polygamy, family, or even love, but about survival, betrayal, and the devastating impact of secrets kept too long. And fans everywhere are left buzzing with the realization that Christine's bombshell may have changed everything forever, both for the Browns and for the millions of viewers who once believed in their carefully packaged illusion of plural harmony, a belief now shattered beyond repair as Christine's voice continues to echo far beyond the walls of that courtroom, leaving the world to wonder just how many more secrets Kody Brown has left to hide. Whispers ran through the gallery, and the courtroom felt like a pressure cooker with a tense atmosphere. With her hands gripped firmly and her knuckles white, Christine sat rigidly at the plaintiff's table. Normally steady and warm, her eyes blazed with a mixture of betrayal and resolution. The little twitch at the corner of his mouth betrayed Kody, who was standing across the room with his lawyer, his face a mask of studied serenity. Seated just behind him, Robyn's fingers nervously twisted the hem of her blouse while she kept her eyes focused on the floor. The judge looked around the room impatiently, a severe woman with silver hair pushed back into a tight bun. This hearing was not like any other. It was the result of years of entangled feelings, unfulfilled vows, and secrets that were smoldering in the background of a previously cohesive family. Christine had not made the choice to sue Kody lightly. She had been the pillar of support in their multiple marriages for years, resolving disputes and maintaining the harmony of the family's expansive dynamic. She believed in their shared goal of a life based on unity and religion, and she had loved Kody with all her heart. But when Kody's goals changed, his focus changed, and his relationship with Robyn deepened into something that felt like a betrayal to the others, that vision had gradually fallen apart. The rumors of a secret that may ruin everything had become too loud for Christine to ignore, despite her best efforts to hang on and trust in the guy she had previously referred to as her partner. The accusations were devastating. Kody had legally married Robyn without the other wives' knowledge or approval, putting her above the others and upsetting the delicate balance of their family. Through a document that had been carelessly left in Kody's office, Christine had discovered the truth almost by chance. A marriage certificate with Robyn's and his names on it, dated months prior. Her world was tilting, and she was gasping after the revelation, which had struck her like a physical blow. Expecting refusal and an explanation, she had gone up to Kody. Christine saw it for what it was, a decision, a preference, a proclamation that Robyn was superior to the others. Instead, he had provided a flimsy explanation, saying it was for legal reasons, for stability. Her last option was to fight in court. Christine had made an effort to settle the dispute amicably in order to shield the family's hardships from the public. She had no other option, though, because Kody refused to accept the anguish he had caused and insisted on writing off her suffering as overreaction. She was battling not only for herself but also for Meri, Janelle, and the kids who had grown up in a family that was now divided due to secrets. The case was about the truth and making Kody confront the repercussions of his decisions in a way he couldn't avoid. It wasn't about money or property. Laura, Christine's astute lawyer, presented the case precisely as the proceedings got underway. Under the courtroom lights, she displayed the marriage certificate with its official seal shining brightly. She produced witnesses, including a former assistant and family friends, who attested to Kody's increasing partiality for Robyn, his late-night meetings with her, and his practice of keeping the other wives out of important choices. Laura's voice was calm but unrelenting, describing a guy who had twisted his family structure to fit his personal needs. Reporters scrawling frantically, recognizing the headline that would dominate tomorrow's news cycle, the gallery whispered. Christine stood up, her voice shaky at first, but getting louder with each sentence. She talked about the early years, when everyone in the family had a common dream and felt like a cohesive unit. She talked about how that dream gradually faded away and the times she felt marginalized and invisible. She described how her heart had raced the night she discovered the certificate, reading the names, the date, and the official stamp that confirmed its authenticity. She looked directly into Kody's eyes and whispered, "I trusted him. I believed that we would all be truthful with one another. But everything changed because of this. This was a lie." Kody's defense served as a deflection lesson. His lawyer maintained that Robyn's marriage to him was a sensible choice that would give her and her kids legal safeguards. Christine was portrayed by him as illogical, too sentimental, and incapable of seeing the wider picture. As Kody ascended the stage, he did so with a silky voice and a high level of charisma, explaining that plural marriage required flexibility and that sometimes compromises had to be made for the benefit of the entire. However, he became agitated during cross-examination. Laura questioned him about why he had kept the marriage a secret for months and why he hadn't told the other wives. His responses were evasive, his self-assurance wavered, and the courtroom sensed the change. The most awaited testimony was Robyn's. Her hands trembled as she took the oath, but she stepped to the stand with her head held high. Her tale was the same as Kody's, legal necessity, nothing more, but she looked anxiously at him to get his consent. Laura didn't mince words. She wondered about Robyn's intentions, her part in the disintegration of the family, and her quiet when the other women started to believe something was amiss. Robyn gave terse, defensive responses, and as the inquiries got more pointed, she stumbled and broke her voice when she acknowledged that she had understood the marriage would harm the others, but had still agreed to it. As the judge went over the evidence, there was silence in the courtroom. Christine's heart was racing as she sat with her hands clasped. She was not interested in ruining Kody or destroying what remained of their family. However, she required this moment, the revelation of the truth. When the judge did render a decision, it was forceful yet measured. The court could recognize the violation of the family's unwritten contract and the breach of trust, but it could not reverse the marriage. In order to resolve the issue, Kody was mandated to pay legal fees and participate in mediation with each of the spouses. For Christine, it was sufficient even though it wasn't a victory in the conventional sense. Now that the truth was out, she could breathe at last. There were murmurs in the gallery as the gavel fell. Secret marriage exposed in polygamist family drama. With her lawyer by her side, Christine left the courthouse into the glaring sun as reporters hurried out to file their stories. The years still weighed heavily on her, but she felt lighter and less burdened. She had regained her strength and voice, but the family she had known was gone, irreparably broken. Robyn and Kody walked out the side door, their faces inscrutable, avoiding the cameras. The courtroom had been a turning point for Christine, but the future was unknown. She had walked away entire after confronting the secret that had threatened to shatter her. Their community was affected by the repercussions. Friends took sides, with some supporting Christine and others standing up for Kody's decisions. Caught in the middle, the kids found it difficult to adjust to the new situation. Following Christine's bravery, Mary and Janelle, who had been silent during the trial, started to voice their own complaints. The world watched as the family struggled with the fallout from their personal decisions, their years-long, meticulously maintained public persona in ruins. Christine didn't dwell on the incident. She went on, concentrating on her job, her kids, and her own recovery. Although it wasn't her life, the courtroom had served as her battleground. Little things like laughing with her girls, spending peaceful evenings reading, and gradually regaining her sense of self gave her comfort. Kody's secret had released her, but it had also ripped her ancient wounds. She no longer had to pretend that everything was fine or live in the shadow of his decisions. Even if it was painful, the truth had given her a fresh start. The media frenzy subsided in the weeks that followed, but the subject continued to occupy people's thoughts. Online discussion boards erupted in conjecture, with some applauding Christine's courage and others denouncing her for revealing the family's private affairs. Robyn and Kody pulled back from the limelight, their quiet being more powerful than words. As their former family faded into the past, the other wives started to forge their own paths and discover their own truths. The courtroom outburst was a turning point for Christine, an opportunity to face the lies and take back control of her life. Although she had no idea what was ahead, she was certain that she was prepared to confront it head-on, unapologetically.